Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is the 5th day of November 2014, straight up 8 a.m. Eastern, and my name is Annette Rochelle Aben. You're tuned into Attitude of Gratitude, which comes to you live here every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Eastern. And that great music in the background comes to us compliments of award-winning artist David Martinka. You're going to find his music at redbellymusic.com and sunshadows.net. And we wish them all the best because the group has been nominated for a NAMI, which is the Native American Music Award. So we're so excited. We're so excited for David Martinka and Sun Shadows. And we thank them very much for participating in the show every week as they do. You participating in the show, this is an amazing thing, and most appreciated, I must tell you, because a lot of people listen to the show, they listen to it in archive, they listen live, and shout-outs to those listening live right now. I know Susie down in Georgia is listening. Hey, Suze, glad to have you along, and I hope you're feeling better. There is a lot going on in the world. We had a major election in most states in the United States yesterday. In fact, probably all of them. I know Michigan had a gubernatorial race. I don't know who won. I literally just woke up, got my act together, and jumped into the studio. So I'll have to investigate that shortly. But long story short, life happens, okay? Life happens to all of us. And when I say life happens, I mean stuff that we have control over, like we schedule our surgeries. My friend Susie just had her knee operated on a week or so ago. I did not schedule my lovely, what do I want to say, experience with life earlier this week. Maybe I did on a karmic level. But for those who don't know what my life is like, I have a condition with my knees where there's nothing between bone and bone, okay, which means bending them is an experience. Walking is interesting. Sometimes I look like Frankenstein because I have to swing my legs around because they don't bend like everybody else's. They do bend, but not like everyone else's. And if I fall or I end up on the floor, I don't have the power to kneel on them and get up. So the last time I fell was 8 years ago. That is until this past Monday, when I tripped over the appliance that I use to walk sometimes, the walker. Literally, foot got caught in it, and I lurched over and fell. And that was an incredible experience, let me tell you what. Now, I'm okay except for some incredible soft tissue damage that is taking its own time to heal, and anybody who's ever had a soft tissue injury knows that it's not easy for that to heal because it's not like a break where they can set it and it grows back together and whatever else, or a fracture, and I've had both of those, so it definitely is not the same thing. But long story short, the reason this is titled All About an Attitude of Gratitude was I had two choices sitting on that floor. First was I could totally freak out. OMG, how am I going to get up off this floor? Because when I fell 8 years ago, we had to call the rescue squad. They had to come. They slid a bodyboard under me. They picked me up, sent me on my bed, and there you go. Now, the weird thing was, within a few days, I was not able to walk. So there was a twist on that one that was very interesting. When this incident occurred, that was not the case. That is not what happened. So, long story longer, don't you just love me? My brother, who was home from work that day, was not at the house. He was out on an errand that it's a regular appointment he has. And normally he would have been home right at the time I hit the floor. But for whatever reason and purpose, he was delayed. I was actually on the floor about 20 minutes before he walked through the door. And I have to say, when I first hit the floor, I wasn't grateful for anything. I went into complete freak out mode, and I just kind of sat there and went, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then at once I realized, Annette, you're all right. You're okay. Now, what do you want to do? And I thought, okay, I'm grateful I'm okay. And that started it. It was all about an attitude of gratitude after that. I'm grateful, I'm okay. I'm grateful that I can see the clock. I'm grateful that I can move my legs. So I started, I checked from my toes all the way up. I'm grateful that I could think. I'm grateful that I could see. I'm grateful that I could butt scoot on a kitchen floor that was already covered with what I had been cooking. I was cooking it in coconut oil. So whatever was on the floor, the coconut oil and I were one. So scooting on that kitchen floor was not as easy as I wanted it to be because my butt was covered in coconut oil. You could have stuck me in the oven and baked me like a Christmas turkey. Alrighty then. But I started to be grateful. And I noticed that the more I was grateful for things, the less frightening the situation was. And I did manage to scoot myself about 4 feet from where I landed to the entrance to the living room. And right about that time, my brother walked in. And he didn't see me right away. And I said, look, I don't want you to be scared, but, I've landed on the floor. We need to get 911. Well, at that time, strength started to come even more. I don't know where it came from, to tell you the truth, because I was a hot mess. And I managed to scoot even further into the living room because I thought, well, if they're going to have a body board, I have literally wedged myself in the doorway, and there's like inches on one side of me and inches on the other, and that ain't good. So I got to where there would be space, and the guys showed up, and they were chatting with me, and it's like I'm having a tea party, and I'm just sitting on the floor. But I was so grateful that they showed up, and I was grateful that they did, even though they blew the sirens and probably scared the dickens out of the neighbors, they cut them off when they were in front of the house, which was nice. And I was grateful that they were friendly and that they didn't think that I was going to be a burden to them or whatever else. I'm not a tiny little person. I'm not as large as I ever was, but I'm not tiny. So as they were standing there waiting for the next crew, because I very plainly told the 911 operator what would be required to get me off that floor. 4 people to help out, if nothing else, 2 to lift and 2 to stabilize, because who knows which way you're going to go. And this is what they did. And I'm so grateful. They asked my brother for a bed sheet. I thought, bed sheet? No, body board. And they were like, no, bed sheet. And they asked me to roll to one side and then roll to the other, and I was grateful that I could do that, grateful that I could. And they slid the sheet underneath me, and all 4 of them grabbed the corners and kind of came crunching in till that thing was taut, and they stood me. And I'm going to tell you something. At the point they started to lift it, I panicked. Gratitude went out the door, I promise you. And it was really interesting because the one fire chief leaned over and he said, I know what I'm doing, and I've done this hundreds of times before. You got to trust me. And in that moment, I had no choice. It was either that or keep my happy butt on that floor for heaven knows how long. So I kind of put my hands together in front of me like I was pleading for something, and I went, okay, and I exhaled. I didn't inhale. I exhaled. And I was so grateful that I could, because right now, with the damage to my pectoral muscles on the left side, because that's the side that got hit, deep breathing can be a premium because it hurts like burning. It's amazing. It doesn't burn, it just hurts like heck. It's constricted. And as I exhaled, these guys on the count of 3, boom, and I went straight up in the air, lifted me right up, my legs extended, my feet touched the ground. I reached for the walker. They took the sheet away, and I was fine. Then I kind of fell apart. Shock set in, and I was crying on this guy's shoulder. Ah! But the idea was I was never so grateful in my entire life that I had my wits about me. I was never so grateful in my entire life that my brother kept his wits about him, that the rescue squad showed up when they did. I mean, kudos to Westline, Michigan, and their 911 people and their first responders, because that helped me tremendously. I was grateful that they had a sense of humor. I was grateful that they weren't panicked. I was grateful that they kept me calm, cool, and collected. So when I say all about an attitude of gratitude, is that a situation that anybody in my physical condition wants to ever go through? No, it's not. It's one of the most frightening things in the world to think that you can't help yourself. It is a hugely frightening thing to live and imagine and be part of. However, when you keep it all about an attitude of gratitude, things happen. It's like serendipity. Stuff comes together to get you through what it is you need to do and to make sure that you are participating fully. I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane, but one of the first things they tell you when they're showing you like the emergency exits and everything is the stewardess will drop the little help me, Susie, what's that thing called? Oxygen mask. Thanks. She's like laughing, going, I'd love to, but you haven't made my mic live, so sorry about that. But it's the oxygen mask, and they tell you, secure your own oxygen mask before you turn to help the person next to you, and there's 2 reasons for that. The first is there's only so much oxygen left in the cabin when it loses pressure and those masks drop. And if you're sitting there trying to get somebody else to calm down, who's flailing and screaming or doing whatever they're doing, you're going to expend all your oxygen getting their mask on. And at that point in time, they'll probably pass out, which means who's going to help you? Put yours on first, takes a mere second or two, and then if that person passes out, they'll be fine. Stick their oxygen mask on, and when they come to, they'll be fine. So be grateful that you do have the wits about you to take care of yourself. Be grateful that you do understand, hey, first things first. What do I need to do first? Do I need to panic? Is panic going to help? Do I need to scream and yell? It depends. If you're trying to reach somebody, get somebody's attention, screaming and yelling is a good thing. I hope you have great lungs, and I hope that you have people that hear you, because I do know that screaming and yelling does have its time. However, in my case, it needed to be all about an attitude of gratitude. Every last bit of it needed to be about an attitude of gratitude. And as the days have progressed, this was Wednesday, I definitely feel that something not so pleasant happened to my body. I don't know when I'll drive a car in the near future. I have a lot of things I had planned this week. I'm not so sure they're going to happen. So I have to make a few phone calls later and give some people a heads up on that. However, what I'm grateful for is that I do plan to drive my car again, that I do have a body that is healing. I can definitely tell that I'm going through the modalities of healing. I feel better than I did on Monday. I feel better than I did yesterday, because when certain things started to happen on Monday, I think I was just in total shock on Monday. Yesterday was when the real pain kicked in, and I was like, really? Seriously? But I was grateful for it because that told me I was healing, and that's what people don't get. You know, having been through situations like I have in the past, I understand that healing isn't just, okay, everything stops and goes away. It comes and goes in stages. And because you still have to live your life and you still have to go through what you go through on a regular basis, healing is going to present itself in bits and bites as opposed to big waves. It could come in big waves, but I'm grateful for the fact that I understand that. And I'm grateful for the fact that you let me tell you this story today. You know, a lot of people take November, and because of Thanksgiving, they use this as the 30 days of gratitude. I would like to think everybody has gratitude every day. I do, and I use it and practice it. Find me on my Facebook page, Annette Rochelle Aben, or, you can friend me. Why not? Or you can follow me on Annette Rochelle Aben Communicates. I don't post the gratitude things there. I could, but suffice to say that every day is a day to make it all about an attitude of gratitude, no matter what you're going through. And if you really are enjoying the 30 days of gratitude for November, and that's what you really focus on, then I wish you all the best, because you will find your life to be so amazingly wonderful, because you're giving yourself and the universe this energy of gratitude. I promise you, what you send out comes back tenfold, and that's just a what it is kind of a thing. I also invite you to show some gratitude to our fabulous musician, award-winning artist David Martinka, and Sun Shadows. Again, they've been nominated for a NAMI, which is the Native American Music Award, and they are absolutely amazing. Find their music at redbellymusic.com, and Sun find free downloads there, as well as great CDs that you can buy. And Journey of the Sun. Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm screwing that up. Anyway, that's the song that's been nominated, so I'm very, very happy for them. But from the album of the same name, by the way, CD of the same name. Find me again all over social media: YouTube, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, and the ubiquitous and always available Facebook, which is redundant, but I said it anyway because I like saying the word ubiquitous. Annette Rochelle Aben on Amazon, and it's Author Central at Amazon.com. And I've got 3 great books there that are available. Empowered Women of Social Media, which launches today, November 5th, 2014, in paperback, because our Kindle has been available for 99 cents for a month, and now the paperback is launching today. You'll also find Perspective, which is the book of inspiration, and Choose, which is a book of information and education. Don't make it sound so heavy there, Annette. They're all great, great books. And I do hope that you follow our show continuously here on Blog Talk Radio. That's blogtalkradio.com/Perspective Power. And I look forward to being all about an attitude of gratitude with you every Wednesday, 8 a.m.